Hey, 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 how you doing? Welcome back to the channel, as they say. So, we're in Canada on a 6-week house sit, aren't we?
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Now, we use Trusted House Sitters, and we'll talk to you a little bit on this vlog about how you go about house sitting, especially if you fancy taking something overseas like what we've taken.
Yeah.
Now, we've been Trusted House Sitters for just over a year, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, just over a year. We've been to 5 different countries and done many more than 5 houses. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, we have. And the reason we started getting into house sits was literally because we needed somewhere to stay when we were shipping the motorhome back from the States, didn't we?
That's right, yeah. So not only did it give us that sort of space to fill that void, but subsequently it gave us enough time to get the van serviced and all the rest of the stuff. And that was really important.
So although I won't be able to show you inside of the house, we will show you a little bit of the outside and the view. Okay, it's a bit of a rainy day here in Canada, but this is the view from the house. So we've got a lovely deck here, and it really is stunning when it's not raining. It's still stunning now, isn't it? We won't show you inside of the house, obviously, because that wouldn't be right. But it gives you an idea of the kind of beautiful locations and just incredible views that you might get. So, before we go any further, we are not being paid by Trusted House Sitters. This is just our experience. We do have a 25% discount code you can use. It's actually supposed to be for friends and families, but we consider you our friends. If you do use our 25% discount code, we will get 2 months free membership. That's all. So, you know, you won't have to pay anything extra. You'll get 25% off. We'll get 2 months extra. What I'll do is I will leave that in the comments below, the very first comment. So if you do want to use that, feel free. So what is Trusted House Sitters? Well, it's just basically a search engine and a kind of agency for homeowners and for house sitters, potential house sitters, to find each other. It's like a dating agency for house sitting people, isn't it, really?
It is.
And I mean, there's sort of house sits all over the place. I'll show you the website now. So you can go on to trustedhousesitters.com, and it's a very simple search engine. You'd literally type in where you want to go up here, and you can sort it by sort of the dates, duration, pets, and there's also more filters. So the other filters would be things like if you want to have a car. But just have a look here. You can see how many house sits there are currently at the moment in location. If you're a bit undecided, you could search anywhere really. So if you wanted to have a look at, say, Asia continent, you just pop that in, and then all the different ones that are available will come up here. But you can search by country as well. So for instance, if I was searching for Ireland, 66 house sits are currently available right now, and 453 house sits are available in Australia. And you can see the map as you're searching which sort of region they're in. You can do a wider search on North America, for instance. So you can do a continental search. And here we've got 4,514 different house sits. And you can see they're throughout the United States, Canada, and even sort of down as far as Guatemala area. There's all sorts on here. Okay, so there's 3 types or levels of membership, if you will, aren't there?
Yeah, there is.
So there's the basic, and what's those prices? I wrote these prices down so I wouldn't forget them. So the basic membership is £99 a year, or the equivalent in dollars or whatever, isn't it? $129 a year is what we pay, which is the sort of medium.
The sitter rate, really.
Yeah. And then $199 is the premium, and that kind of gives you like free video calls with vets, and it also has some like lounge passes and things like that, doesn't it?
And a higher level of insurance should something go wrong.
Yeah.
Like flight cancellations and things like that.
That sort of thing. We haven't bothered with that level. I think if we were to sort of be doing a lot of international travel, we'd probably go with that level. Yeah. And then the thing I like about Trusted House Sitters is the people that do it, you know, the homeowners, they are also members and they have to pay as well. So they're vetted as well as you are. And we'll give you an idea of some of our house sits as well, just to show you how fabulous this system can be. So our very first house sit was Scotland, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, yes.
It was great. And we looked after 1 Labrador and 1 cat. And the cat literally, like, it had a mind of its own. It just did whatever it wanted. It kept running away. We didn't know where it was. Gary was sent out of the house, like literally every 20 minutes. I was starting to panic, like, go and find the cat, go and find the cat. We had been warned the cat did like to go everywhere. Yeah. And he was always out in his like pajamas calling the cat.
Yes.
But the cat was fine. But you do worry if you're in someone else's house, you don't want anything to happen to the pet. That's the most important thing, that the pet is safe and happy and well fed. So we looked after them, and that was great.
It was.
This is where we met our grandson as well when we were on that very first visit. Yeah. That was the very first time we met our lovely grandson Blake. So our second house sit was fantastic. Oh. It was a real menagerie, wasn't it?
That was the one in Norfolk, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Norfolk. So this one was in the UK as well. And we looked after like some chickens, a lizard,
some rabbits,
a gorgeous cockapoo.
Yes.
What else did we have? We had something else, didn't we? Fish as well. And Gary looked after the lizard more than me, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a reptile kind of gal. But he was all right with it.
Lizard used to sit on my shoulder at night and watch TV. It's weird.
Oh, I didn't go near him at that point. I was scared it would like jump on me. But I mean, it was...
Yeah, the lizard, not me. That was a given. While we were in that house sit, we saw a house sit for one in Cyprus. And that was a great house sit. So we went to Cyprus for a month and we looked after a cat, didn't we? Yeah, Paco.
Paco the cat. Now, Paco's favourite place was Gary's belly. You would have thought Gary was like
a hot pad.
It's like lactating or something, I was going to say. I don't know whether...
I think I prefer hot pad.
So Paco the cat sort of cozied in on Gary. That was a great house sit as well. And it was a house with a swimming pool. We couldn't really use it because it was freezing, but it did have a swimming pool. It's really close to the beach, so we went walking by the beach every day.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
Fabulous. Our next house sit was back in the UK, wasn't it?
It was in
Suffolk.
In West Sussex.
West Sussex. And it was a mansion.
Wow,
proper mansion. And one beautiful dog.
Mm-hmm.
Red Fox Labrador. She was just such a gorgeous dog. A really big house. It was fabulous, and we became quite friendly with the people that owned these houses as well. So we absolutely loved those guys. We had such a great time with them. In fact, we went back and saw them when we were travelling, didn't we?
Yeah, they looked after their motorhome, I think, when we went back.
They kept the motorhome there when we were travelling, and we parked it there because they were quite near to Gatwick Airport, weren't they? Our next sit was actually in Spain. And we looked after a couple of cats, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Again, they were mad for the Gary belly. I don't know what's going on with Gary and cats. But they were lovely. And that was a really nice house. It had a swimming pool. In fact, we could use that pool, couldn't we?
It was quite warm, wasn't it?
It was fairly warm, so we could use the pool. Really nice walk-in, lovely little house, just really nice people as well. And then our next sit was back in Scotland.
It was, yes.
Yeah, and we spent Christmas in Scotland, and we had 3 fabulous dogs. I mean, they were crazy dogs in an old farmhouse. And what a beautiful sort of farmhouse. It was really rustic, and it was perfect. They let the kids stay with us and everything. We could see everybody could come around for Christmas dinner. I had a big, massive farmhouse. The guy was a chef, so I was able to use a really well sort of service kitchen.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then, of course, we ended up in Canada. So this is a great house sit. We've got one dog, a lovely place on an island. We're on Salt Spring Island. It's in British Columbia in Canada. And for those of you who don't know, you have to take a ferry from the mainland of Vancouver, and it's very close to Vancouver Island. So during our Canadian adventure, we're going to show you around Salt Spring Island. Yeah. We're also going to go across to Vancouver Island while we're in this house sit. There's a couple of things we want to show you there, but I won't let the cat out of the bag, as it were, right yet. Okay, so if you're thinking, right, I'm going to take a leap of faith, I'm going to join Trusted Housesitters. Let's talk a little bit about some of the tips that have really we've learned along the way, I suppose.
Yeah.
So first of all, for your very first house sit, try and take a really short sit or something that there aren't a lot of people applying for, because then you've got a higher chance of getting picked, haven't you?
Yeah, but not only that, a short sit means if it's not for you, you've only got to sit for a short period. You're not sort of staying in one place for 6 weeks, hating every minute of it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So that brings us nicely onto your profile, which is effectively your shop window.
Yeah.
Now, your profile needs to be quite strong, especially if you are new to the game. So what you want to do is have a picture, preferably with some sort of pets.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have any animals, did we? So we'd sat on a giant, Gary had sat on a giant bunny when we did Route 66, so I put that in.
Not very furry though.
You don't necessarily want fur between your legs, Gary, anyway. Anyways, moving swiftly on. What you want to do is you want to come across however your personality is. So if your personality is outgoing, lively, fun, caring, you want to show that in your pictures. And that's people, you know, some people are looking for more studious, quiet people. Some people want couples. Some people want like single individuals as well. So, you know, it's all horses for courses depending on the homeowner.
Yeah, I know. And if you've looked after a pet, even your sister's pet or your brother's pet or something like that.
Or your own pet.
Mention that, because that's what these people are looking for. They want somebody who knows the way around pets. And if you can sort of highlight your experiences, and that gives them something more to think about.
Well, exactly. I mean, Gary was much more experienced with animals than I was. To be honest, I'd only ever had one hamster, so I wasn't really well up there on the pet experience. But what I didn't know, I was quite willing to learn. And Gary knew everything that we could have known as a couple. So that really helped us out.
Yeah.
Plus, we weren't particularly fussy about like what we were sitting for. We were predominantly looking for area when we went for our very first sit. And so it's going to be dependent on what you're looking for. But go for something short to start off with, without many people that have gone for it, and you stand a better chance of being selected. Now, when you are searching for your sit, make sure that you read the reviews. Sometimes you can sense something between the lines that might not be for you. Or read the profile well, and you might think, I don't really like that. So some people have very strict criteria about what they want with their pets. So some people might say, you know, if you don't like my bunny sleeping in your bed, don't bother applying. And you think, okay,
yeah,
well,
not going to apply there.
well, it's all horses for courses. Do you mind the pet sleeping in your room, or don't you mind the pet sleeping in your room? There's a difference between having the pet in your room and having the pet in your bed. Now, I'm boiling hot, so I don't want a pet in my bed. And it's not because I don't like the pet, it's because I'm boiling hot. It's like Gary's got no space in the bed. Never mind a pet in. If there's a bed and Gary and my menopause, it's going to be an extremely hot bed.
They're the only pause we want in that bed.
Right, the next tip's really important. Make sure you only apply for a sit you can genuinely do. Now, by that, I mean, if you're going to go and sit for someone overseas, you've got to remember that these people are relying on you to get from where you are to their house. That means you fork out for the travel. Nobody pays for your travel, you pay for it. That's part of the quid pro quo of it all.
Yeah, it is.
So don't apply for it if you know that you can't get the time off work, or you can't afford the travel. It just wastes everybody's time. So when you put an application into Trusted House Sitters, the homeowners see 5 different applications in one go, and they can reject all of them or none of them, or it's up to them to kind of sift through and decide who they want to see. Very often a homeowner will contact you. Maybe they'll contact you second after they've spoken to somebody else, and then you're the second choice. Or maybe you are just outright the first choice. We know certainly as we've become 5-star raters and a lot more like really great reviews, thanks to those guys who took the time to review us. That was really kind. What that's done is elevate us when we do apply. So if we apply for something, then people can see what people have written about us. But likewise, you look at those reviews, because I've seen a couple of reviews and I've thought, I'm not sure I would like that. There was a few reviews. I remember reading one about somebody said, the homeowner's brother came around and said that he could stay, and he stayed there. He stayed there while that person was there. Now, that to me would be a no-no, because especially if you were a single individual, you don't want somebody you don't know staying in the house. So it's things like that. Just make sure you read them, you're happy with making an application, and then go for it. That's my advice would be.
Absolutely.
I mean, we haven't had any negative experiences as such. So we've been very lucky and had a car with this house sit, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
And we'll show you the car now. Now, some house sitting jobs will come with a car as well as the pet. This is Mac. This is who we're looking after this time, and he is absolutely gorgeous. Say hi to everyone, Mac. Say hello. Hi, honey. Now we're in a Tesla, so we're hoping for no drama, you know what I'm saying? Calm yourself, people. I don't know what's going on all over the world. Anyway, so this one does come with a car, but it is relative, isn't it? This is a long house sit.
It is, yeah.
Obviously, you're going to need to sort out the insurances, and Gary is the named driver on this one. And it's an electric car. We've not driven an electric car
First
before.
for me.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really handy if you're on a long sit. So a top tip, if you're searching for a house sit and you're not quite sure where you want to stay, what I do is I look in the search criteria and I narrow it down by things that are really, really important to us. So if we go on a longer sit, we really like having a car, don't we?
Yes.
It just works out so much better. You save the money on the hire car. Also, you're taking a pet with you in the car very often, so you don't want to be putting that in a hire car. You know, the pet's used to its own car. So we do that. We sort of narrow it down by that. We'll narrow it down by time. If we're going to fly a long haul flight, we don't really want to do a house sit for less than a month, do we?
No, and if you're going to get somewhere that has a car involved, then don't forget that what you'll probably end up doing beforehand is sending the house owners copies of your driving license. So it's all relatively simple. Now, sometimes the homeowner might offer you a car, providing you're prepared to pay the excess on their insurance. In other words, because it'll cost them another 10 or 15 quid. But that's something that you'll discuss with the homeowners prior to it.
And it has worked out really well for us. Nearly every house sit we've had a car.
Yeah.
And it's been absolutely brilliant. So one of the best things that you can do if you are doing a pet sit for anyone is to do regular pup dates or cat dates or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to look at it like. That really goes down a long way, doesn't it,
does,
for people?
Yeah.
I mean, we always take little pictures, and probably about once a week, or if it's a shorter sit, we'll do it a couple of times a week. Just let them know how the pet's doing, especially in the early days, because they are worried.
Yeah.
They are very worried when they're leaving their. Don't forget, this is like their children, so they're worried about leaving them. They want to know they're okay. Sending a picture, sending an update goes a long way. Now, when you are house sitting, treat the house like it's your own, and I don't mean just in terms of like relaxing. I mean, would you want somebody going through your drawers? Would you want somebody like messing up your house? You wouldn't want any of that. So respect their property.
Yeah,
that's a really important thing. We never go through any drawers. And even if people say, I'll go through everything, I'm like, no, thanks, it's all right. There's an inbuilt mechanism in us that doesn't feel comfortable to do that. We're always really grateful if there's a really well stocked kitchen, i.e. pots and pans. When it comes to food, food's your own responsibility, don't forget. You would buy food anyway, wouldn't you?
That's right.
Now, most homeowners have something left in the fridge. It might just be bread and milk or something. And some leave a lot more. It really rather depends.
Yeah.
All homeowners look after their pets' needs, though. They provide the pet food. And even if they're going away for 5 or 6 weeks, there's usually a real stock of pet stuff, isn't there?
Yeah.
And if there isn't, they would offer to pay for the pet food. But your food's your responsibility. But keep the house really nice and clean. Don't let people come around unless you've asked for permission. Now, we've asked for permission previously for family members to stay, especially at Christmas and that. And we've been given permission. And in fact, far from being given permission, we're actively encouraged to let our family members stay. Yeah. So, don't be afraid to ask, especially if you're open and honest and say, your adult son wants to come and visit. Is that okay? They'd rather know. And make sure when you leave that house, it's spotlessly clean. Yeah. Sometimes if you clean it even more than what you came into it, it goes such a long way for people. Go a long way, yeah. They come back from a holiday and a break, and the last thing they want to do is walk into a dirty house. Wouldn't that be like? Yeah. I would hate that if I came away and I left my house with someone and then I walked in and then it was really grubby. So make sure that you do a real nice clean, because at the end of the day, it's a win-win for everyone house sitting. You can stay in a really lovely place and get to see some really fantastic things, but they can leave their pet with someone they can trust not to ruin their house, to make sure the house is safe and secure. And if you get someone like Gary, he's going to fix stuff. After we've done this house sit, we are going to head up to Abbotsford in near Vancouver, and we're going to pick up an RV. So we're going to be driving around the States and Canada for 5 weeks in an RV rental. We're really looking forward to that, aren't we?
We are, aren't we?
And we're hiring the RV with a company called Fraserway RV.
Yes.
So when we pick up that RV on that first week, we'll show you exactly what you're going to get for your money. We're excited about that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
If you've enjoyed this vlog, or if it's been very useful to you, why not give us a like? Consider subscribing if you're not already, and maybe do the Holy Grail itself and ring that bell so you get a notification. It's been great to see you. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Love you loads. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.